Guys, here's the hard truth from a former government procurement officer. The middleman strategy that you are hearing about is almost complete nonsense. If your plan is to go to the government and your first sale to them is going to be stitching together products and services from other companies to solve problems that the government has when you see solicitations, if that's your approach, not only are you going to fail, you're going to waste a lot of your time, the government's time, and probably a lot of your money if you're hiring people to help you. As a former government procurement officer, I spent 20 years in the Department of Defense. If a company came to me and did not have any government past performance, the next thing we're looking at is commercial past performance. What's your area of expertise? Now, everyone has to start off winning their first government contract. But if you don't have any commercial past performance, and what your idea is that you're going to come into my office and say, hey, this human resources tool that you're trying to put together, I am going to provide software from this company, maybe something else from Microsoft. I'm going to provide cybersecurity solutions. You have a list of solutions from other companies and you're going to stitch together. I have one question that I am either going to ask you or that's going to be on my mind, and that is, why do I need you? I don't need you, and there's no way that I would hire you as a middleman. Okay? Much better is you need to start off with an extremely focused niche and provide value. And if you don't have commercial past performance, start selling commercially first. This is what a lot of the gurus out there aren't going to tell you. Selling to the government takes 12 to 18 months to win your first contract. Could take longer. Exceptions to the rule, you can sell commercially much quicker. Make sure that you have a defined niche, that you're providing value, that you have worked out the kinks out of whatever it is that you're providing. Once you have a specialty, then approach the government. Okay, now let's talk about what a middleman actually is. The middleman strategy, the middleman is actually referred to as an integrator. And there are huge integrators. This part is true. There are integrators selling to the government, making billions of dollars, not just millions, billions of dollars. But here's what you're not hearing when you're listening to YouTube posts or LinkedIn or wherever you're getting your information, that the most successful integrators selling to the government did not start out as integrators. Let's talk about the most successful integrators or middlemen of all time and how they actually started, because they didn't start by saying, I'm going to stitch a bunch of stuff that other people have done together and give it to the government. I don't need you to do that. The government doesn't want you to do that, and they're not going to hire you to do that. Okay? Focus on your own niche. But let's just go through a list of the best middlemen of all time. Lockheed Martin, now they started out in the 1920s in aerospace. They didn't start off as an integrator. They started off as an aviation aircraft manufacturer. Northrop Grumman, they had the Alpha Male plane in the 1930s. Now, I've hired both of them from the government side as integrators, but that's not how they started off. They started off by proving their expertise in a very specific niche. If you're a small business, you could do the same thing. It doesn't have to be aircraft. It could be accounting. It could be something else. You want to focus on your niche. Boeing's very similar. So Lockheed, Northrop, and Boeing all started off in aviation before they were hired as integrators. And even when they're hired as integrators, they're providing a piece, a very significant piece of the puzzle usually. And then they're stitching together the things that they don't inherently own in their company. Raytheon, they started off in radar technology. General Dynamics, submarine technology. BAE, maritime armaments. Okay, so they were selling these type of products and they were developing them. They weren't hiring other companies to do them, maybe as subcontractors, but they had the people in the company and the technologies that they were selling. Now, on the list of the top 10, the closest you could get to making the claim that they were started off as an integrator is probably Leidos, which started off as SAIC, now known as Leidos. But they had very significant scientific and technology expertise, and they were known as a systems integrator. But they weren't a two-man show stitching together other companies. They had a tremendous staff of full-time salaried positions within the company that were providing this expertise. And they also would integrate from other areas. If you're a mom and pop organization, a small business, so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a small business. and you're approaching the government as an integrator, you could see where the problem lies. And really, I just want to make sure that somebody is telling you the truth, that selling to the government is hard. It takes a long time. It can be extremely profitable, but you're spinning your wheels if you think you're going to approach as a middleman, and that's your strategy. I would advise you, and people that come into our academy, if they don't have a commercial business, if they don't have commercial sales, the first thing I'm usually telling them is you need commercial sales. Why don't you do that? Which is why we started our consulting accelerator. But you need commercial sales first. So that's my pitch to you. It's not even a pitch. It's start your business, provide something commercially, and show success and value there. Be very specific. And then you can approach the government selling in that specific niche. And then once you have past performance and you have a history of doing one thing really well, then if you want to start integrating, or if you want to start as a prime, I wouldn't even use middleman or integrator for you. I'd say, hey, priming contracts and then teaming up with a couple other companies to provide a solution to the government, that's a great way to go. So hopefully for anybody listening or watching, this is giving you some insight into the middleman strategy. I would advise most people to forget about it. Much better to focus on your business, commercial sales, than government sales. DoD Contract Academy is now open. You can join at a new low introductory rate at $129 a month. It has all of our courses in there, from selling to the government, defining your niche, everything from registering to advanced sales techniques, as well as group coaching, so we can address your business one-on-one. We also have something called the Consultant Accelerator. Now, the Consulting Accelerator, that's for, and I talk to a lot of companies that come to me with ideas of, I'm starting a business and it's going to be a government contracting business, or I'm starting a business, it's going to be selling to the government as a middleman. I always tell people, or I'm retiring from the military, I want to start a business selling to the government. I always start off with, first, sell commercially, almost always. There are exceptions, but in most cases, sell commercially. The turnaround on a commercial sale is much, much faster. You can find the right client and sell to them in a couple of days versus a couple of years. The government contracting timeline is 12 to 18 months. So if you have a commercial company with past performance, because the government's looking for that, and you have money coming in, now's the time to start looking at selling to the government. If you don't have that, whatever your specialty is, you could start consulting. That's what we help companies do in the Consultant Accelerator. We can turn around your first offer to clients in as little as 5 weeks. And what we're doing is we're selling an initial offer, and we're turning the clients that buy that initial offer into companies that are paying you a monthly retainer or a monthly fee. And that builds up really fast. And then the step 2, or the step after starting your business, then it's selling to the government. So you want to have those 2 income lines coming in. So go to dodcontract.com if you're interested in any of those. Thanks.